welcome back to Care and Proud Army Mom. Today I want to talk briefly about a subject we as military parents don't like to talk about, and that's when a soldier dies. But first I get into that, I would like to read a poem that I found, and many of you may have heard this poem already, but I think it's worth reading again. I don't know who wrote the poem, but I'm glad that he or she did. It's titled, Where a Soldier Goes When He Dies. The soldier stood and faced God, which must always come to pass. He hoped his shoes were shining, just as brightly as his brass. Step forward now, you soldier, how shall I deal with you? Have you always turned the other cheek? To my church have you been true? The soldier squared his shoulders and said, No, Lord, I guess I ain't. Because those of us who carry guns can't always be a saint. I've had to work most Sundays, and at times my talk was tough, and sometimes I've been violent because the world is awfully rough. But I never took a penny that wasn't mine to keep, though I worked a lot of overtime when the bills got just too steep. And I never passed a cry for help, though at times I shook with fear. And sometimes, God forgive me, I wept unmanly tears. I know I don't deserve a place among the people here. They never wanted me around, except to calm their fears. If you've a place for me here, Lord, it needn't be so grand. I never expected or had much, but if you don't, I'll understand. There was a silence all around the throne, where the saints had often trod, as the soldier waited quietly for the judgment of his God. Step forward now, you soldier, you've borne your burdens well. Walk peacefully on heaven's streets, you've done your time in hell. In June, I got word that my son's unit took a big hit. They had lost 3 men. And it was reported that they were engaged by enemy forces with small arms fire and hand grenades. When I got the word, my heart just completely sank. One of the gentlemen I knew, and it saddened me greatly. And then my heart sank again because I needed to call the fallen soldier's mother, and I just didn't know what to say. How do you show your sympathy and tell a mother or talk to a mother who has lost her son when your son is still alive and was there when it all happened? One of the things I want to mention about when you have fallen soldiers, you hear about survivor's guilt. The soldiers go through survivor's guilt, and the parents go through the devastation of knowing that they lost a son. But the military family, and it's not just the military, it's the parents of the other soldiers, also go through a thing that I would call survivor's guilt. Because when you get that word, the first thing you think of is, oh, thank God it's not my son. And then you feel guilty. It's not that you wished ill on anybody else's, child, but you're grateful it wasn't your child. But now you have to talk to the mother and express your sympathy, knowing in the back of your head you've had that thought of, thank God it wasn't my son. Now, I spoke with other mothers from that unit, and they too had the same feelings. So it's not just me, it's not one other parent. I think many parents go through this. I was going through on the internet, I was searching for some other information, and I ran across an article that had mentioned as of July 14th, 2008, there was 4,645 fatalities. 4,107 was from Operation Iraqi Freedom, and 538 was from Operation Enduring Freedom. I don't think at the time before my son had enlisted in the service that I realized how much it affects everybody involved. I know once he joined, there were many nights where I was scared to death. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know when the next time I would get that phone call. And of course, the dreaded, God, please don't let, that car pull up in front of my house to inform me that I am now a Gold Star mother. Many parents go through this. And when it comes into reality, words can't even describe the feeling. Now, when my son's unit got hit, I know my son felt a tremendous amount of guilt. He felt there was something he should have done. He had promised one of the fallen soldiers' mothers that he would look after his buddy, and when this happened, he feels he let the soldier down, he let the mother down. Now, for somebody who's not dealing with the military, who's not in the military, it may seem silly that why would he feel this way, but it's a very real feel. These soldiers develop a brotherhood. They are very close, and they might as well be your blood brother. So when something like this happens, it doesn't just devastate the immediate family, it devastates everybody involved. For the military parents, if you're going through this and you feel like now you're in a bottomless pit of despair, I would strongly, strongly encourage you to seek professional help. If you have a soldier who is going through this, and it would appear that he may be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, please encourage him to seek help, seek professional help. If he wants to talk to you, let him talk to you. Even if you've heard the story 20 times over, let him. If this is what he needs to help him work through this, then let him do that. Having said that, if he doesn't want to talk to it, don't push the issue, but keep your eyes and ears open for the signs of post-traumatic stress. You can go on the website and search, Google or what have you, to find what the signs and symptoms are. But most importantly, be there for your soldier. If you're not in the military, you don't know how you can help, you can go to the USO website. There's also another website, anysoldier.com, where you can donate money or sponsor a soldier and send care packages. Let these soldiers know that they're not forgotten. Let these soldiers know that their buddies aren't dying in vain. It doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. We need to support these kids. They're just doing their job. They're doing what they need to do. And I support my son 100%. It's been a real tough time. I know the whole unit is suffering, emotionally. It's tough for them, but they're trying to pick themselves up and carry on with the missions that they need to do. But like I said, if you feel you are having trouble coping with this, please seek professional help. But for now, I'm going to keep this relatively brief, but I just want to say I want to dedicate this video, what of it, to the fallen soldiers of this unit. So I say prayers to the family and rest in peace to Specialist Jonathan Emard, Sergeant Cody Legg, and Sergeant Shane Duffy. May you rest in peace. Until the next time, Army Mom out.